Right then, this is a walk around video, and this is for a Honda Accord 2.4 EX automatic. Just 43,000 miles on this car, and it's been kept absolutely beautifully. Just go around the front of the car for you first of all. The lights and lenses are completely clear and intact, as you can see there. The front of the car is exceptionally clean. Bonnet itself and wings hardly exhibit a stone chip at all. I'm sure there must be one or two minor ones there somewhere, but they are very, very, very few and far between. Coming down the near side of the car first, and it's absolutely mirror smooth in the panels, no indentations at all. Front wing unmarked. Near side front alloy, absolutely beautiful condition, and that's the one that tends to take all the bashing, being nearest to the curbs. Main panel work on this side, absolutely fantastic. Near side rear alloy, again, absolutely unmarked. Okay, on the back of the vehicle, and lovely, lovely condition. Around to the off side of the car, as with the near side, just like a mirror. It's no indentations there either. Side rear alloy, again, without any marks in it at all. And then the remaining panel work is absolutely beautiful. It's all lovely and original as well. Into the final alloy. Again, absolutely lovely condition. Just a tiniest little mark. You can just see up there, but I mean, that's about it on the exterior. I mean, it really is a quite exceptional vehicle. It's not to say that there is the odd light mark that I have missed, so please do bear that in mind. But you know, I try and be as accurate as I can with these things. Coming to the boot area, beautifully finished off inside, as you'd expect from Honda. Big boot as well. You can drop the seats down on a 60/40 fold as well, but it really is. Again, it's been kept in lovely condition. Coming to the back of the car, the interior of the car matches the exterior, and it's been kept in just stunning condition back here. It really is a full set of original Honda mats. The leather work in the back has been given minimal use. Passenger door card, as with all the others, in beautiful condition. All the little recesses really nicely kept. Footwell area, very, very clean and tidy. And front passenger seat, as with the rear, hardly been given any use at all. So finally come to the driver's door card. Again, it matches the others, in that it's in lovely condition. See the controls there for the electrical memory seats as well. Driver's seat with the electrical adjusters, all really good. Bolsters really very good indeed. It's been fabulously kept, this car. So inside the car now, engine's running through this section, so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. The dashboard, it just looks absolutely as new. As you can see there, sat nav working absolutely perfectly. Put the car into reverse, you get that lovely clear parking camera as well. As I said, all working exactly as it should. The interior, they've just done this interior so nicely, and all functioning exactly as it's intended to as well. Come to the dashboard binnacle there, hopefully you can see 43,554 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Multifunction steering wheel, again just in pristine condition there, but it is fabulous in here. Video will not do this car justice, I'm afraid. Just to quickly show you, owner's manual pack, and very importantly, lock and wheel nut key are both here and present with the car. So finally, just come into the engine bay, and what a beautifully presented engine bay it is. You're looking at there, one of the world's greatest engines actually, and I'm not underplaying that at all, for a whole host of reasons, but it's a fabulous unit, and it's been kept wonderfully under here as well. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Accord 2.4 EX automatic. This particular car is registered, if I can read it, bear with me, YR59XGM, and mileage at the start of the road test is 43,538 miles. The reason we do the road test is essentially so that anyone that's actually looking at this car online in an advert actually gets to see that very car in operation. It gives us an opportunity to give our feedback on the vehicle, but far more importantly to let you know of any issues that we feel whilst driving the vehicle. We know just how frustrating it can be to go and see cars when you get there to find it's got a mechanical fault which would be immediately present or obvious to you when driving the car, so hence that's why we do it. It's also done on these very quiet country roads very close to our premises, so hopefully it'd be representative of obviously what you'd feel yourself. As you know from the advert, this has been a quite exceptionally well looked after car, with all of its servicing up to the one we've just done or about to do this afternoon, by the Honda main dealers, and it just feels it, because it's essentially just feels like new to drive. I'm going to go through the mechanical stuff more quickly than normal because I want to talk a bit more about the car itself, because this is actually one of my favourite Hondas that they make. Because without wishing to be a spoiler, I can't find anything. It drives absolutely beautifully, but the engine itself starts instantly. Obviously rock steady idle, pulls absolutely sensationally through the whole of its rev range. There's no warning lights on the dashboard aside from a low fuel light currently, relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge is running at a third, and it's been running for well over an hour now, and that's exactly where it should be on a Honda car. I'll talk more about the engine in a second anyway. Gearbox, again, what I'm looking for is just to make sure it's tight. Gear changes are smooth, there's no clonks, delays, and there's nothing at all. It's exactly as it should be. I mean, these are incredibly tough gearboxes. We've never put a spanner on one. I don't want to tempt fate, but don't anticipate it on this either. But it's very, very well matched to the engine as well. You can use it with a manual mode by using the paddles on the steering wheel here. If I pull that back, it's selected me 4th gear, change up to 5th, or change back down using this one here. It means you can control your gears whilst you might be doing an overtaking manoeuvre, and it all works absolutely perfectly. It'll reset itself to automatic mode within a few seconds, which is done now. But everything's exactly as it should be. Steering on the car tracks bullet straight. There's no vibrations at all come back to the steering wheel at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. But the steering itself is brilliant. It's just beautifully weighted, fantastically precise and accurate, and absolutely perfectly tuned to the chassis. Chassis, by the way, again, what I'm looking for mechanical wear is basically any signs of any thumps or clunks coming from underneath the car that shouldn't be there. And there's nothing at all. You'll hear it hitting a bump, but you don't get any kind of secondary noises coming back through at all. It's exactly as it should be. Just checking the cruise control, all working exactly as it should. But the chassis itself, again, it's just joyful to use. It really is. It's one of the nicest chassis you'll sit and use. I'll come back to that again in a second. Sorry, I'm getting slightly ahead of myself. A bit too excited. We'll just do the brakes very quickly because we've got a sharp corner coming up. Yeah, really nice brake pedal on the car. It's solid. It pulls strongly. When you hit the brakes, it doesn't pull violently left or right. Everything's, there's no tremors or vibrations or pulsing at all. It's a really, really solid and good brake on the car. Inside the car, we've not touched it yet, and it looks pretty much as new in here, and it feels as new. The build quality is absolutely sensational on these cars. Everything is working exactly as intended. Heated seats, air conditioning, sat nav, all the dials, displays, readouts, every button I pressed works exactly as it should. Really is fabulous. But to talk more about the car, because there's nothing to report back, it drives perfectly. It really does. The reason I love these cars, I think this is one of the cars that Honda got absolutely right in every way. Hondas are nearly always, and this car's no different to that, very, very, very reliable. But they're also beautifully made. But that'd be fine if the car was dull. You still wouldn't want to own it. The fact is, they've got everything right about this car. The engine is perfect. It is so smooth, you'd swear blind it was a 6-cylinder. It's just so free of vibration. It sounds wonderful in operation. It's cam chain driven, so there's no belts to change. It's got a reputation for reliability and longevity absolutely unmatched in its class, by nothing in this class. This is one of the great engines that they've built, and they're the best engine builder in the world, bar none, in the real world of motoring. It's then matched to a gearbox which is bomb-proof, but with ratios that are perfectly matched to the engine to give you the best of the engine, but also the best economy, because it's far more economical than you'll give it credit for. You know, I find them more economical actually personally than the 2-litre versions, because you're not working the engine so hard, but it also makes the car far more serene to operate. You're not having to put your foot down as hard to get the thing to go. It's not up and down the gearbox as much as it is in the 2 litres, which are fine cars, by the way. It's just that this car has, again, far more torque as well as the power that you'd expect from a Honda car. It's got lots of low down grunt, and it pulls really hard from quite low, and then just crystallizes in power all the way through to the red line. And as I said, sounds wonderful in the process. And then there's the rest of the car. I mean, you know, if you want an executive sports saloon car, you want a good engine, good gearbox, a lovely place to sit, and it's got all of those. But the chassis is just sublime. It really is, because it rides with kind of a lovely nuggety. It's firm but very comfortable. That's the way I'll describe it. As, dare I say it, BMWs drive, and I really rate them. Obviously, they're incredibly good drivers' cars. Where this is slightly more compliant than, say, a sporty 3 Series, but it's far more involving than the vast majority of its competitors, the Audi A4s, the C-Class, Volvos, for sake of argument. Only, actually, in my opinion, something like a Ford Mondeo, which might seem run-of-the-mill, has a chassis that compares to this, because the Mondeo's have got a great chassis on it. Unfortunately, its suspension components aren't as well made as the Hondas, so they can be quite clunky things after a few tens of thousands of miles on them. But this, I think, strikes the best compromise out of all of them. It's a thoroughly engaging and fun car to drive, and very, very capable. It gives you probably 95% of what a 3 Series BMW can offer, but it's far more comfortable on roads like this where they've got pitted surfaces. I mean, I've driven a 3 Series down here with sports suspension, and they completely rattle your brain. As I said, it's all about judging a compromise. But I think they just hit the sweet spot with this in every single way. I've always loved these cars, and that'll never change. I think it's, as I said, in a range of cars, there's very few that Honda do better, and that would only include things like NSX, S2000, Integra Type R, in my personal opinion. Having said that, as always, don't hesitate. Please do give us a call if I've missed something, and we'll happily answer any questions you might have.